It is my honor to moderate this discussion here with you on how to enable private and government partnerships to effect positive change. All right, firstly, warm welcome. Congratulations, all of you have been awarded as the change makers, and now we are discussing how to enable private and government partnerships to effect positive change. Thank you. I will quickly move on to my first question, which is considering that PPP has been an effective model in the infrastructure industry, which other industries can this model be implemented? Mr. Agarwal, if you'd like to take that, please.
Hello, everyone. That's a very interesting question about how government and private organizations can, change the world, change India and different organizations, different industries. So they've done a lot of work in infrastructure, medical, or road development and stuff like that. But there's an industry that they should really look at it is the holiday home market. As Nirvana Realty, we are one of the largest holiday home developer in Mumbai. All of you over here must have heard, people have holiday homes in Lonavala, Alibag, or Karjat, or Goa. These destinations are very well developed. They were small villages before. And now, because of the concentration of so many homes, so many resorts, five-star development happening, these villages have become small towns. And Nirvana, as a developer, we have also adopted smaller new towns. Like we have created an ecosystem of holiday home development in small villages like Wada, Khapoli, Pali, Murbad. These were never in the map of holiday homes or luxury properties. And now Nirvana has created an ecosystem. We've created townships over there. We've created five-star development over there where people from the villages, rural areas are getting new trainings, new skills, how to take care of guests, dignitaries, VIPs, how to prepare special food, how to create a special infrastructure which is world class, which is like the urban city. So when you visit our projects, it doesn't feel like you are in a village. So this is the area where if government recognizes this and they participate with us in developing these small villages, they become towns and rural becomes urban. So this divide between the two, the gap between the two becomes less. This is something what the government should look in PPP, in creating tourism spots in rural areas where developers like us would love to participate with them and grow the country. So as Nirvana, we do a lot of social development in the villages which we adopt as a township we create over there. So we create basic infrastructure for them. We give them electricity, water storage, a road network, education, and continuously we keep doing some kind of training for the local villagers in teaching them new things. It has actually increased the standard of living of these villagers, and and they are coming to city and getting better jobs. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about it. Yeah.
I just wanted to check with you on, because you've already been developing these townships. So has Nirvana Realty as such gone ahead and has had any government partnerships already? Or are you all still on the lookout of that?
Yeah, so currently there are no schemes by government where they participate jointly or they give us a plot of area and they say you develop a project over here and it increases the whole standard of living of that particular area. So we are looking forward. So this is something that, like you asked, that where PPP can be applied in different industries. So this is something that they should look at. They should look at the live example of our projects and the villages that we have adopted. And they should look at this model to actually increase the standard of living of the rural India.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. So my next question, Avi, is to you. Now, when we're talking about enabling private and government partnerships to effect positive change, what you do or what Youth for Human Rights does is not a single-handed work, right? It is a very collaborative work. So how does one increase public participation in social causes, if you could tell us?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. And I think how to increase public participation in social causes has three layers. One is on the very individual level, one is on a community level, and then on a government level. For me, I started in ninth standard. I was 13, 14 years old, and I saw गरीब बच्चे मतलब स्कूल के बाहर, even school kids in my school, they were being discriminated against. So I thought, let's do something for them, let's create an awareness. So that's why I chose the field of human rights, because it covers everything. So we've adopted 5,000 kids in the slums. We give them free education. And this is not my full-time job. I've been doing it for 14 years. I have 2 NGOs. But I have 3 businesses also, so that's my full-time job. But I feel from an individual level, from a childhood stage, we have to inculcate an attitude of responsibility and duty, that we are all part of one community and we have to take responsibility for each other. I started doing it, and that's what I teach school students and college students. कि you have to ask yourself, if not me, then who? अगर हम नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा? Right? And that answer, whatever that answer is for you, that will propel you and cause you to take participation in social causes. That's on a very individual level. Then, on a community level, you can have in your school, in your community, programs in colleges and schools. Like in Japan, they really build a team spirit since a very early age. Like बच्चों को स्कूल में क्लास में झाड़ू पोछा भी मारना पड़ता है और सब एक साथ मारते हैं. हमारे कल्चर में है कि हम फर्स्ट आएंगे और लोग पीछे छोड़ जाएंगे. तो द टीम स्पिरिट, दैट कल्चर ऑफ कम्युनिटी, वो रह जाता है कहीं ना कहीं. बट दैट्स व्हाट वी हैव टू बिल्ड, दैट ठीक है, इवन इफ यू आर फर्स्ट, यू हेल्प द लास्ट पर्सन ऑल्सो कम फॉरवर्ड. And that becomes another, that we're all participating and collaborating. And then of course on the government level, government has many schemes that it can come out with. Like very, very good scheme in the 1930s in America was this thing called the Civilian Commission of something. It was CCC in 1930s, where the retired army officers and the youth, it was like a volunteer scheme जो पूरा आपका क्लीन करते थे सब कुछ, मतलब grass root से forestation, planting, cleanliness of their environment, and that really boosted America in the 1930s during the Great Depression. Schemes like this in India also बहुत सारी हैं, and we can continue doing that to increase public participation. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you, Avi. So my next question, Dr. Padmakar, is to you about, we all speak about digital transformation, how India has become digital. So has social media played a significant role in influencing public opinion and participation on different topics?
Yes. Nowadays, it's social media is a part of our life. The research shows age between 8 to 18, 50% children, they are having the social platform, particularly Instagram and now Facebook and other. And other people like 18 onwards, even they are into the social media, and it's impacted. I remember when I was producing television programs in 90s. Government used to ask us, we want to do the polio campaign. कुछ टीवी सीरियल में आप थोड़ा सा कुछ बताइए families के लिए कि पोलियो के लिए लोग जाए and drop दे जाए. And suddenly you see in last 2 years pandemic में, when Corona came, the social media have played a huge impact all over the world. Immediately we are knowing what to do, what not to do. Like standstill, whole world was standstill just through the social media. And sometimes people say कि now TV channels are also biased, and some people are buying and this and that. But social media, you have your opinion to give, and it is making an impact. Like in Cuff Parade, we are protecting open spaces, and once we send in the group, like WhatsApp group and our Twitter, so people are coming forward and protecting the places from encroachment. Same thing is happening for other projects where the RA colony is there on other.
Absolutely.
places. Yeah,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah, I agree to you, Dr. Padmakar, when we say that while the world was at a standstill and there was no news churning out every day on TV, news that we got or information that we got was through social media. Resources that we sourced for ourselves or relatives or people that we knew of to help them with healthcare facilities was also on social media. And yes, many initiatives being taken for a positive change through social media. Totally agree on that. Dr. Panse, my next question is to you. Can entrepreneurs use the PPP model to raise capital for their ventures? Avi, if you could just please help him with a microphone.
Very good question. There are various areas where PPP can work very well. Particularly, there are certain areas which are totally neglected. And nobody has thought that how it can help the nation to build further. We are talking about 5 trillion 5 trillion economy. But at the same time, we are forgetting one thing, that thousands and lakhs of units are closing every day. Lakhs of people are becoming jobless, particularly after the pandemic. Many businesses are closing. If you take the MSME sector, the possibility of these people to sustain such a big pressure has become very, very difficult. And many has succumbed. I have met many people who have come to me saying that we have no option but to commit suicide. Because for last several years we have created our dignity in the society. Now the banks are coming and they are taking over our personal assets, our house, our factories, our buildings. How do we keep our reputation? Apart from that, the bankers are also saying that we will publish your photographs in newspaper, that you are defaulters. That is again shaming them and disrespecting whatever they have done. My submission in this sector is that government should come forward in this area. In the sense, take for example, Jet Airways or Kingfisher. Perhaps the promoters must have done something wrong. You punish the promoters, but why are you punishing the business? In Jet Airways alone, 20,000 people become jobless. When you can do the nationalization of the banks, why can't you do the nationalization of these kind of businesses which are already created, which have contributed to the GDP, which have contributed to the employment? And apart from that, there are thousands of units which were dependent on them. They have become again on the road. They have created unemployment. So this is the area where government should participate and government should give the capital or reasonable funding. Here my opinion is that the entrepreneurship is the domain of an individual. It is the individual vision, it is the individual quality, it is the individual character of enterprising nature. Government has got huge infrastructural abilities. If these two come together, perhaps the nation will make a big change. I am working in NPA areas where the people are becoming NPA. NPA means non-performing assets. They have made default in the bank. I am helping them to come out of it. Unfortunately, our lawmakers, our politicians, and our entire judiciary is looking at the business from the banker's point of view. And I suggest my entrepreneurs, my clients, look at the bank from business point of view. Who is for whom? Bank is for business or business is for the bank? Any business is subject to some cycle. It is going to come and go down. So when they are down, at that time if you don't support them, how the nation will survive? And from the banker's point of view, you just think one thing, that every business is subject to certain ups and downs. So every borrower is going to become sick one or the other day. So instead of treating his sickness, if you are killing him, whom you will serve? How bank will survive? So if that is the case, I think this is the major area where government should open their eyes, put their participation, revive those business, and again give back to the promoters or find out some right promoters, right talent to get that business back. The business should be treated as a living being and no business should be killed like that. That is what I feel.
That's a wonderful thought. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, well, I had only these 4 questions, but we are open to take questions from the audience. Yes, Chitrikant would have a question. Can we have a mic here, please? From the console? Yeah, it's coming in.
Thank you. So, my question is with you, sir, and you. As we discussed that there are a lot of companies which became NPAs. So, NPAs were sometimes back, they were one of those highly paid, highly tax paid companies who who did all the good for the nation, who paid their taxes on time, who did all the good work to the society, whether it's about creating jobs, whether it's about giving the taxes and everything. Do you think there should be an involvement of government and government bodies to educate them about the marketing things and the sales part? Because there is a very big number of companies who are into the market with their products, with their services, but they don't know how to sell them, how to market them perfectly. And that's why they are dependent on a lot of other companies who take a very big chunk of their revenues out of it, and they left with a very, less number of revenue with them. So survival is very difficult for them with time.
I can answer this question in a little different way.
Sure, sir.
Particularly NPA is a financial phenomenon. And what you are talking about, sales and marketing, that is a major contributor to the financial phenomena. Now the margins which we are talking about, these margins are eaten away by some big companies, that is what you are telling. But in my opinion, it's little different, but let you also think on it. What we sell or what we try to sell, we try to appeal to the head and we don't try to appeal to the heart. But if you visualize or if you see, people buy certain things if you appeal to their heart. So, the contribution comes, which is we call as a consumer surplus. And consumer surplus comes because of the mental feeling that this particular thing will give me so much of satisfaction. For example, if I give you one simple thing, that one pen which I want to sell it, maybe is around 500 rupees or maybe about 700 rupees. But if I try to sell it for few lakhs of rupees, nobody will take it. But the same 2 rupees ka pen, if I tell that Michael Jackson was in India and he has used this pen, perhaps uski boli lag jayegi. So what we have sold? Have we sold the pen or we have sold something else? So marketing, the training to the marketing, the value addition in the marketing is more important, which has to come into the entrepreneurial qualities. If that is achieved, perhaps what you are saying is correct.
Would you like to add, sir? All right. So I hear such great inputs from each of you, but when we're saying that we want private and government partnership to happen, the only and only word that comes forward is collaboration. When private players like Nirvana comes forward, speaks to government agencies to bring forward a partnership that can forge a path not just for your company, but for companies to come forward as well. Even with television, social media, entrepreneurs, I think all of them coming together and bringing in actually a basic right to collaborate with the government, even an organization like Youth for Human Rights, I think already works with a lot of government schemes and moves forward and helps the society. But this is a greater message to everybody sitting out there, that not just your own business, but look at things that you can change around you as well with private players or government sectors. Thank you so much, all of you, for bringing forth your point of view.